Are you serious? Are you serious, guys? Thank you guys for hanging in there. It's a very busy Sunday night. And of course, we will be live at 7 p.m. Eastern, Sunday Night Live, as always. But I wanted to come in right now and address what is about to happen and what's already happening in this bank apocalypse. Good news is it doesn't affect us, most of us little people here on Main Street. It's affecting the big boys, but it's affecting them in a big way, which is causing the whole scenario of the bank apocalypse. Let me just first put a shout out right now for www.ketowithpaul.com. That's www.ketowithpaul.com. Guys, I'm serious about losing weight, setting goals to lose weight. Of course, obviously, it's what we eat and how much we eat. But boy, it sure helps if you can speed up your metabolism. And one way to do that is through ketosis. And that's, in other words, the ketone levels in your body. Now, there was a diet called keto. Very tough to keep. I mean, it's weird foods that don't taste that great. It's not that appealing. But if you did it, it works. How about this? KetoWithPaul.com, www.ketowithpaul.com, took the best ingredients of that diet, put it in powder form, and allows us to drink it in a smoothie, in a shake. Now, if you do that every day and cut way back on the amount of food you eat, or do some what's called intermittent fasting or something like that, something reasonable that you can live with, but use the powder to help speed up the metabolism. Go to www.ketowithpaul.com. That's www.ketowithpaul.com. All right, guys, here's the deal. Of course, the Silicon Valley Bank collapsing on Friday. This is the second largest bank in U.S. history to ever go under. And it's amazing. Tonight on Sunday Night Live, we'll be talking about it. Matter of fact, Heidi and I will even go off grid and talk about it after the Sunday night show, or at the end of the Sunday night show. We'll take you just to our website where we can talk off the grid and tell you what we really know about some stuff. But we'll share that with you there. But let me tell you right now, there is some things happening on this. And let me just tell you what's going on right now. Peter Thiel, you may have heard of Peter Thiel. Some of you may have never heard of him. But he was a partner with Elon Musk, and they were co-founders of a little company called PayPal. That's who invented it. Elon Musk and Peter Thiel. Now, Musk, of course, sold out his half of the company and went on his way to create Tesla, SpaceX. Now he owns Twitter, and he owns the snail boring company, the tunnels underground, and countless thousands of other companies since then. Peter Thiel, though, of course, continued on with his business ventures, and he had a ton of money in this bank, in Silicon Valley Bank, what's called SVB. For some reason, Thursday morning, Peter Thiel, had the most money in that bank, decided to pull all of his money out of that bank and to convince all of his customers to transfer their funds out of that bank into a different bank. That was before the run on the banks began. Maybe that's what started the run on the banks. Maybe, if you're the largest guy, the guy who's got the most money in your bank, all of a sudden pulls everything out and tells all of his customers to take all their money out, that is a big hit. And all of a sudden, rumors start to spread and people start making a run on the bank. Did he cause it? Did he mean to cause it? Did he do it on purpose? Or, what in the world happened? How did he know to get out before the collapse? Or did he cause the collapse? That's the questions people are asking. Let me read to you some of the articles we found out. First of all, why this jumped on me, I'll never know. But this article just jumped, so give me 1 second, and I'll pull it back up. I should know by now that people play games with what we do on a constant basis. What in the world's going on here? One second, everybody. Hang on. Everybody, hold on. Hold on. Here's what we know. Peter Thiel got his cash out of the Silicon Valley Bank Thursday morning. The collapse happened Friday. How did he know to withdraw his millions, and I'm talking multiple hundreds of millions of dollars, out of that bank? Peter Thiel, the founder's fund, had no money left in Silicon Valley Bank as of Thursday morning, as the bank descended into chaos, according to a person familiar with the matter. Founder's fund that Peter Thiel owns withdrew millions, hundreds of millions of dollars from Silicon Valley Bank. And when a person was asked not to identify themselves discussing this private information, but it joined other venture funds that took a dramatic step to limit the exposure to the now failed financial institution known as Silicon Valley Bank. Founders Fund also advised its portfolio companies that there was no downside to moving their money away from SVB, even if the risk was low. So in other words, they're saying, move your accounts now. It won't hurt you. We will make sure of that. Founders Fund acted in other ways to move its businesses away from Silicon Valley Bank. On Thursday, as the bank was beginning to unravel, the firm started what's known as a capital call. That's a run-of-the-mill activity in a venture capital world, in which the venture capitalist firm asks its investors or limited partners to send its money in order to make investments in startups. The core function of most venture capital. So if you're a venture capitalist person and you invest money in small startup companies, sometimes there'll be a call out that says, okay, venture capitalist, here's your chance. We've got like 10 companies here that are getting ready to start. If you want to get in on it, here's the time to do it. Send your investments now. So that's called a capital call. It's normal procedure if you're a venture capitalist. So the bank, Silicon Valley Bank, made that call out Thursday morning. Said, hey, here's a good time, guys. Everybody's sending your money. They didn't tell everybody that Peter Thiel had just removed hundreds of millions of dollars out of the bank. Okay, they just went on with business as usual. But they were really doing this venture call because they really needed capital, and they needed it bad. So they put the call out, which venture capitalist firms were asked its investors or limited partners to send money in order to make investments in startup companies. The core function of most venture capitalist firms is to do that. It begins by asking those backers to transfer their funds to the accounts at Silicon Valley Bank, as it has done for years. But the firm learned that its limited partners were encountering issues trying to use the Silicon Valley Bank services. As they tried to transfer funds, they weren't immediately going through as expected. The bank wasn't allowing the transfers to take place. Quickly, Founders Fund asked its investors to transfer their money to other banks instead. The fund acted to ensure that startup funding deals that were slated to close in the coming days would not be delayed. Today, Founders Fund has no exposure at Silicon Valley Bank. They got every bit of their money out of there, and all of their customers got all their money out of there before the bank collapsed. This is incredible. The person did not say if the firm's cash withdrawals happened on Thursday, as the startup world was panicking about Silicon Valley's banking financial position. But I bet you they did. Founders Fund went further than many other venture firms, which kept some money with Silicon Valley Bank in order to try to maintain a relationship. But now they wish they hadn't, I'm sure. This week, the panic turned into a bank run on Silicon Valley Bank. Some venture firms suggested that the tech industry had a moral imperative not to abandon Silicon Valley Bank, because Silicon Valley Bank has been a friend, if you will, to all of these .com companies and internet companies and what have you. So, you know, they had stuck with all these young companies coming up. Now they're saying, guys, you can't bail out on this bank now after they've been so loyal to you. But folks, people will do what they got to do to protect their money. We're talking millions and millions of dollars. Now, what's really wild about this whole story is that Peter Thiel knew to pull it all out and get ahead. Did he know because what was going ready to happen? Or did he know or did he, by him just doing it, cause it to happen? And if that's the case, what would his good friend Elon Musk think about all this? Well, Musk was asked the question, would you buy and save the bank? Would you just buy the bank? Elon Musk has already tweeted out an answer and said, His answer was, let me think on that. Let me see his exact answer. I'm open to the ideal, he said. I'm open to the ideal of buying Silicon Valley Bank and turning Twitter into a digital bank. So it would not only would Twitter be a social media platform, but it would also become a digital bank for the Bitcoin and those type of currencies. Twitter and Tesla CEO Elon Musk said in a tweet that he's open to rescuing the Silicon Valley Bank and even using Twitter as a digital bank. This sudden collapse of Silicon Valley Bank has sent financial markets into a frenzy as experts warn it may not be one-off and brace for the next domino to fall come Monday morning. Now, Musk, one of the world's richest men, who had already bought Twitter for $44 billion last year, was responding to a Twitter user asking if Twitter should buy Silicon Valley Bank and become a digital bank. Elon Musk tweeted back, I'm open to the ideal. California regulators shuttered the bank. They closed the bank on Friday after a run on deposits pushed it into a crisis, causing the largest U.S. bank failure since 2008 and the second largest bank failure in U.S. history. Happened Friday. Musk similarly purchased the struggling social media app in a protracted negotiation of 2022. He agreed in April to purchase Twitter for $44 billion. He tried to back out of the deal, but when he legally seen he couldn't, he went ahead and bought it for $44 billion and took over Twitter on October 27th, 2022. Had he not completed the deal, he would have faced action in a Delaware court for not following the deal. Now, the ripple effect, though, on Friday has already hit similar institutions, banks all over, such as in New York, Signature Bank has really been hit hard as its stock prices has fallen 23%. Also, First Republic Bank, which is the 16th largest bank in America, First Republic has been hit hard. There, at one point, their stock fell by 50% on Friday, but then made a rally and finished down 14.8%. That's still huge. Pacific West Bank, dropped 37.9% of its total value on Friday. And so there's no question there's a problem in those West Coast banks. Most of those are headquartered out of California. Well, we already know that California as a state is billions and billions and billions of dollars in debt, and that they can't meet their budget. And even Gavin Newsom is trying to figure out a way to get the federal government to bail out California. Silicon Valley's bank is monumental downfall is the second largest bank collapse ever in U.S. history, folks. And I'm talking all the way back to the 1929 crash. So on the demise of Silicon Valley Bank on Friday, which has left customers fearful of losing their deposits totaling tens of billions of dollars, is eclipsed only by the failure of Washington Mutual back in 2008, which had assets of $307 billion when it went under. So Silicon Valley Bank is more niche-y. It's for the .com and internet type companies and their employees and their investors, or for a lot of venture capitalists operate there. But get this, another big customer of Silicon Valley Bank is Roku. Roku had $480 million in Silicon Valley Bank. Now that's 26% of all the money that Roku has. 26% of their cash reserves they had in Silicon Valley Bank, which adds up to almost $500 million. So Roku is worth about $2 billion in cash. 1/4 of their money was in Silicon Valley Bank. They may lose it all. Don't know yet. It's frozen, like everybody's is when the bank collapsed. And the feds are going to jump in now, and they may put it into bankruptcy. They may, or maybe the Congress will bail them out. Who knows? If they do, it's going to raise tons of taxes on everybody. But Joe Biden said he already wants to raise taxes. He already says he's going to raise taxes. And Jerome Powell, the Fed chairman, is saying he's about ready to raise interest rates. So what if this happens? You talking about a bank apocalypse. What if Jerome Powell raises interest rates again and Joe Biden is able to get Congress to raise taxes again and borrow what he wants to borrow, $6.9 trillion? And what if both those things happen? Interest rates go up, the budget gets passed, and we borrow another $6.9 trillion, and Joe Biden convinces Congress to raise taxes. It's a trifecta. It's a triple whammy. It leaves the American, you might say, here's what it does. It will affect us long term because the value of the dollar will dissipate. The interest rates that we will all face when buying a house or a car or your credit cards or anything else you have out there with debt will accelerate higher, and loans will be harder to get to purchase a home or what have you, and you will pay higher taxes. And believe me, Biden will say we just want to tax the rich, the billionaires, but that's never ever how it goes. They always tax us all. They add on taxes, increase sales tax, increase gas tax, increase excise tax, increase hotel tax, increase food, goods and services tax, taxes, tax that, and hidden this and hidden that, plus income tax, or they take away some of the credits that you can use when you file your taxes. All that's raising taxes. If you take away things that you can write off, that's the same thing as raising taxes. We've seen this before. So what I'm telling you is we're watching right now a very serious situation develop. And what if the government, on top of these three things, raising taxes, raising interest rates, and borrowing, raising the debt ceiling of the country, and borrow another $6.9 trillion to give away to useless, worthless projects. But what if the fourth thing they do? Bail out this bank. If they bail out the bank, you know who pays for it? You and I. That would be 4 economic indicators. 4. Be like getting hit with 4 arrows at once. Are you serious? Are you serious? Now, I'm not a financial guru by any stretch of the imagination, but I can tell you, you can't afford, a country can't afford, we, the American people, can't afford 4 body blows like that at one time. Not counting the fact that people are being laid off. Are you serious? So, just letting you know that I already saw on Twitter people standing outside of the Bank of America waiting for the bank to open, a line of people trying to withdraw money just from the ATM alone. But you know this, the ATM has limits on how much you can withdraw a day. And those were put in place for a reason, folks. In case these days come and people start making a run on their banks, they'll be limited in how much cash they can get. And they've already put that process in. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to be a disaster of biblical proportion. And I don't think it's going to affect the small man that much unless Biden raises taxes and they raise interest rates. That's what will kill us. But one bank going down does not really affect the American public. It affects the big guys to some degree. But on top of that, if you start throwing in taxes and interest rates and bail out the big guy with more bailouts and adding to the debt and spending money on stuff we don't need, and we're already sending billions of dollars in weapons to Ukraine. We're already blowing money left and right, okay? The last thing we need to do is shoot ourselves in both feet and in both hands with 4 arrows that we don't need. Wow. Are you serious? I'm Pastor Paul Begley. Now, Heidi's got an inside take on this. Well, I shouldn't say inside take, just an analogy, right, Heidi?
Theory.
A theory. Heidi has a theory on this. And what's amazing is Thursday morning, she looked at me and said, "What's going on?" I said, "What are you talking about?" "Something's going on." And she'll explain how she knew this. This was Thursday morning before this ever started. How did she know? And what did she know? And what is her theory? What do we need to know? Okay? Well, one thing, let me say this. You and I that are saved and are following the laws of God financially, if you're in the kingdom currency, and you've heard me preach this before, and those of you who are tithers, you already know I'm right, because it's the Bible. Okay, it's not Paul Begley's wisdom. It's the Bible. The Bible already gave us a financial plan, a kingdom currency, that if we walk in the laws of that, we're guaranteed that God will bless us going in and bless us going out. You follow God's financial plan. You'll say, "Pastor, I don't see how that works." Well, if you follow it, God will make sure just your steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. He'll make sure you'll know what bank to even use. You won't even know it, but God will direct you. You won't. God will be the one that helps you get that next car, the right car that actually runs and is not a lemon. God will help you find the right property to buy and to get a good deal. God will help you to sell property you own for top dollar. God will take away all of the different things that could eat away at your financial situation if you're a tither, giving your tithe and offerings to the Lord. And folks, too many people, they put God off. They push God off. They push God off. And then when the rubber meets the road, when the big day comes, when the apocalypse comes, they find themselves standing outside and wondering, why didn't I trust God? So I want to thank God for all of you who have been. If you're in God's currency, it isn't going to be a bank apocalypse for you. If you're in God's currency kingdom, get in God's currency kingdom. Get in the kingdom currency and be blessed of the Lord. God bless all of you. I'll be back with more breaking news because there's more happening. And don't forget, Sunday Night Live at 7 p.m. Eastern will be a special edition on this, the coming apocalypse. I'll be back. Give your life to Jesus Christ. Oh, you want a song? Oh, I'm sorry. I know. I don't think I can do it because I think I got my phone's turned. Oh, well, I can if I do it this way. Okay. Give me a break. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. Just give me a moment, everybody. And I will come up with the song of the day. Okay. I know that he sent me a link, Heidi.
What?
Tell him I know.
Who is it?
Israel Hall wrote this song, Silver Streets. And he helps me sing it on my album, Harmonize and Prophesy. Somebody shout,
I will tell him.
I'm in the kingdom currency.
Okay, he's alive.
I'm under the blood of Jesus.
Better call his number.
Thank God I know the Lord.
Yeah, I'll tell him. Okay, bye. Rock.
That's right. Lay those treasures up in heaven. Just keep doing what you know is right. You don't hear the song? You can't hear the song? Oh, I see why you can't hear the song. My bad. My bad. So sorry. It was a great song, but I had it plugged into the wrong, I have the wrong cord plugged into the wrong outlet. So God bless all of you. I'll be back with more current world events and how they relate to biblical prophecy. Don't forget, I'll be live at 7 p.m. Eastern on Sunday Night Live. And I'll get my, I got my wires crossed, literally. Are you serious? Are you serious? How did I do that?